So it happens in most relationships. Someone does something that you didn't expect, and what you do, you overlook it, you avoid it, and you keep allowing it. I love the quote from Maya Angelou: when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how it's time for you to stop allowing people to do you wrong over and over again, but believe them when they show you their true, authentic self. This is a powerful message. When people show you who they are, believe them. This is relationship advice. I want you guys to take this and use this advice and apply this in your life. Maya Angelou, the late great Maya Angelou, I love her so much. She said, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time, which is so amazing because we often overlook things that we see in people. We overlook the red flags. We overlook the signs when people are showing us who they are, when they are showing us that they're not really for us, that they're not really evolving with us, they're not really trying to grow. And one of my favorite sayings I used to say, if you can't grow with me, you cannot always go with me. You can't go with me if you can't grow with me. See, I'm moving forward in my life, and I have to be around people who are going to support that growth and support the evolvement of who I am. Many of you have been following me for years. You've seen me transition. Many of you have seen me grow. You've seen me change. You've seen the way I give messages change, evolve, different things. And some of you, you're like, I'm with it. I'm ready. Let's grow, Rainie. I'm loving it. I'm loving to see the growth in you, the evolvement in you. And then there were some people that couldn't handle the growth, and they was like, I'm done. I don't want to follow. I don't want to watch. I don't want to continue this. I liked it when you were doing it this way, or when you were that way, or who you were. So some of y'all got to pay attention, because you might be surrounded by people in your life who cannot handle your growth. And there are some people in your life who may not like your growth. They may not like your evolvement. And don't get upset with them. This message is not about you being upset with other people or blaming them or being mad because they can't handle your growth. This message is about you knowing that it's okay for you to continue to evolve, and it's okay that some people may not join you in that season of growth, and that you can love them and bless them, because some people are only there for a specific reason in that season, and when their season is up, that relationship transition. This is why it's important that we understand where we are, and when people show us who they are, believe them. Stop trying to force someone to be who you believe them to be, and accept them for who they are showing up to be. We get upset because we have a certain idea of how somebody should be, a certain expectation. Well, you should be this way. Well, you should just be more thoughtful or caring, or why would you say this, and you're too grown to act like this, and why would you do that? Listen, yes, there are some people that are way too grown, but they still act childish. But even in that, you gotta own up to the fact that they want to be grown and childish at the same time. You cannot try to control or force them to grow up or to be who you think they should be, or expect them to be who you think they should be. You have to accept them for how they are showing up right now, because that is information for you to know what boundaries to put in place for yourself, and to know where this relationship is headed. That is information that you take and you say, okay, I see where you're going. I'm going to accept you fully for how you are showing up right now. I'm not going to get upset with you because of that. I'm not going to get mad at you because of that. But just not taking it personally and really looking at it from a different perspective. What makes us so upset is because we have these expectations and ideas of what we want people to show up as, and when they don't show up that way, we're bothered. We got to learn to accept people authentically. exactly their authentic truth. Accept their authentic truth, especially when it may impact how we feel. Like some of you are in these relationships with people and they're showing you over and over again they don't want a committed relationship. They don't want the connection you desire. And so you may have a hard time accepting it because it will impact your feelings for them, where you see it going, and so you don't want to accept it, and so you kind of ignoring it. And as I'm saying this, I really feel like some of y'all may need to tag some people to listen to this video, because some people need to hear this. Understand that the way they're showing up, the truth of who they are, that's who they are. Accept it fully, even if it may impact how you feel. Even if it may hurt your feelings a little bit or make you feel sad, it's okay. Sometimes we got to move through those feelings instead of avoiding it, avoiding the truth that this person doesn't want what you desire. Even if that's the fact, even if they're not going to be committed or whatever, but you moving forward can also be a message to them so that they can really make concrete decisions on what it is they really want. Because sometimes people, they're not making those decisions and they're not committing. They don't feel the need to because they know that you're still going to be there. You let them get away with certain things. And so sometimes it's time for you to let it be. I'm accepting the authentic truth. And so me accepting that, it's going to be hard. I'm going to feel some emotions about it, but I am going to accept it so that we both know exactly where this is and we own what it is. So don't avoid the authentic truth. People can change, but they have to desire change personally. See, that's the thing. We often want to influence people to change, but really, they got to want to change. Change has to come from an individual ready and willing to do what's necessary for change. That's why I just want to encourage you guys with that today. This message, when people show you who they are, believe them. I want you guys to type in the comments your questions. Where are you when it comes to your relationships and accepting people for who they are? Go ahead and get your questions ready, your advice ready, and we'll get ready for Q&A too. But before we get into Q&A, I want to share this excerpt from my book, Sis, Be Nicer to Yourself, available for pre-order. How self-sabotage and codependency blocks you from manifesting love, happiness, and money. I'm going to read a quick excerpt. It says, codependency keeps you fixated on another person. You are more consumed with the other person being the center of your world that you have no room to focus on creating the abundant life you are destined to live. The drama, toxic behavior, emotional pain of a codependent relationship clouds your foresight and occupies your mind. This blocks your vision, energy, and focus while making it feel impossible to even pursue your dream and accomplish your goals. Read more and Sis, Be Nicer to Yourself. Go to sisbenicertoyourself.com. My heart is in this book. We're getting ready to do Q&A. I'm going to have my husband Patrick join me now.
So the first question we have is, how do you walk away from a toxic marriage with kids?
You want to first prepare yourself. You want to prepare yourself before you walk away from any toxic relationship. Some people are in very abusive, toxic relationships that can be dangerous. And in those situations, you want to make sure that you really have a plan. You want to make sure that you have, and I talk about this in my book, Addicted to Pain. I give you step-by-step things that you can do if you're in a really abusive relationship. And even the National Domestic Violence Hotline, you can contact them and their website. But you want to do this in a secure way. You want to do it in a way where you are protecting yourself. And your safety and the safety of your children is very, very important. So before you leave that toxic marriage, you want to have a plan. You want to prepare yourself. You want to make sure you're safe. You want to make sure you have your paperwork taken care of, whether it's your bank accounts, your job, the situations, and all that stuff is in order. But really plan it out. Really prepare yourself. Really work on your mind. Work on that inner healing, mental health. Do the necessary work to work on your mind and emotions, because a lot of times, you could put yourself in a dangerous situation if you're back and forth. You want to leave, but then you stay, and you back and forth in that toxic situation. Mentally, you can be setting yourself up for failure. So you want to make sure that you do the mental work. It's a process. And that's actually something that I am teaching now with my coaching and things that I'm doing, is to really help women to really evolve their minds. There's one of my favorite scriptures talk about, be anxious for nothing, but in everything renew your mind, renewing your mind and your heart. And renewing your mind is a process. It's a process. It's a technique. There are things, specific, tangible, practical things that you do every day to renew your mind, to change your thinking. And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand how to do that. They don't know how to really heal and change their life. And they feel stuck. You really got to do the work. Do the inner work. Don't neglect yourself. Don't just, I feel motivated to do it now. Now I'm not going to, then later on I'm back down and I'm not doing anything. It's so important that you do that.
Don't wait for a perfect moment. There are no perfect opportunities to make decisions that need to be made. Sometimes things don't always look ideal for you to make a decision, but ultimately you have to be reminded that a decision needs to be made. And though the circumstances around me may not be the perfect opportunity, they may not look like the perfect timing, it's something that I need to do, and it might be done in a moment where things are uncomfortable, but just know to be encouraged to make the decision, to take the steps, regardless of how things may be looking, especially when you're in a situation that's detrimental to your health or to your mind or your body, and overall making sure you're taking care of yourself. So the next question, I've grown in my life tremendously in the past months. I have a new career, relationship, and I'm much happier. With this growth, I'm no longer close to my best friend, and we don't see eye to eye anymore. She doesn't get me, and I'm too happy to argue with her. Should I end the relationship or work on it?
The fact that you're growing, you're evolving in your life, things are changing, shifting around you. You're working toward bettering your life. There are some people that may not be willing to grow with you, so therefore they're not going to go with. And that's okay. She may mean so much to you. Maybe she's really, really close to you and you feel like you are best friends, like sisters. You can still have that love and connection and still care about her. Your relationship just may be changing. Because of the growth, you may not talk as much. You may not hang out as much, but the love is still there. The care is still there. And you check in with her every once in a while, or maybe you guys meet up once a month or something like that. Whatever makes sense for your life and the evolvement of your life. You don't always have to end a relationship or a friendship to continue to grow. And so continue to grow, and as it work out for the two of you, allow it to work out however it fits for the new evolvement of your life. But don't put your life on hold and don't drift back just to meet her where she is and to recreate the past. Continue to grow, evolve, and love her in the midst of it. Encourage her, care for her, send her encouraging words, pray for her. Be there if she needs your assistance and she's dealing with something. But continue to move forward in all that you know you're called to do.
Never allow any friendship to hinder you on the path that you know that God is leading you on. Because relationships change. They have different seasons, different moments. But if you have a true connection and a true friendship, I think that those things will straighten themselves out over time. And it's nothing that you have to force and work too hard on, So I got a question here on Facebook. How do you move forward when your husband's family has been hurtful to me? No love, no support from any of them.
I want to encourage you to let go of any expectations you have. Those expectations where maybe you got into the marriage and you're like, oh, we're going to be close. I'm going to be close to this family. his parents are going to love me, his siblings are going to be happy about me. I want you to let go of those high expectations that you have for them, because when people show you who they are, believe them. And just say, you know what? My peace, my love, and my joy is what's important. I may not have these close relationships, and they may not treat me the way I expected, and they may show up in a way that may be hurtful to me, but my peace, my joy, and my love is important. My love and my marriage is important. My love with my children are important. I may not have that same love with my husband's parents or my in-laws or whatever. It may not be that same deep connection, but I can still have a life of love and peace regardless of how they act and how they treat me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create boundaries. I'm not going to go around people, even my in-laws, who are disrespectful to me. I'm going to love them from a distance. I'm going to send them Christmas cards. I'm going to pray for them. I'm going to continue to thrive in my marriage and show my husband love and pray for his family and say good things about his family. Those who do you wrong, I'm going to bless them. The things that they're doing to you, you got to say, this is childish. And something is going on with them, and I can't fix it. I can't control it. I can't talk them to do differently, talk them out of doing what they're doing. But I'm deciding to accept it. I'm deciding to believe people for who they are. So you got to make up your mind how you want your life to be, regardless of what another person does, and create those boundaries to not take it personally because they have those issues.
I think the key is creating healthy boundaries. That's really the best way to protect you in those situations, especially after you've already taken the steps to communicate how you feel to your husband. The truth is, we can't control other people. There's another question. What's your take on forgiveness if they keep doing them same things over and over again?
Really, forgiveness is a gift that you are giving yourself. You're forgiving because you like, I need my beauty sleep at night. I'm going to forgive them because I need my peace. I'm going to forgive them because I don't want to deal with anxiety. I don't want to deal with bitterness. I'm going to forgive them because I don't want to hold the weight of emotional pain. So I'm going to forgive them because I got to make sure I'm healthy. I got to make sure I'm right. I got to make sure my heart is right for me, for my family, my loved one, my children. I'm choosing to forgive you, but at the same time, I'm creating those boundaries to protect myself so that you can never hurt me or harm me in that way again. You showed me who you are, and I believe you. And now that I believe you because you show me who you are, I got to protect myself. You did this, this, and this, and that. I no longer have this trust. So because of that, I have these boundaries now.
Forgiveness is free. Trust is earned.
Yes.
I just thought about that. Because especially when it comes to dealing with relationships and friends and people doing stuff over and over again, we can have the best intentions for somebody else and believe that they're in a place where they're not going to do what they did before. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like they've already showed you the type of person they are. They showed you the way that they do. And you can even have these type of relationships with your close friends. It don't always have to be detrimentally bad, but it could be a flaw in that individual's character that you can identify and say, I recognize this. I'm not going to hold it against you, but I know you don't be the type. You're not the type of person that come on time. Don't tell me you're on your way. I already know you're not on the way. I love you, but I know you're not on your way. You're going to be late. People show you the ways that they are, the type of things that they have, their habits and things like that. We just have to acknowledge them. And I think that's in line with this next question. What can I do when I go back to people that means me no good? Like, God be giving me signs, yet I keep going back to them and I still get talked down thinking that they change, but in reality they haven't.
Because you're not believing them. When people show you who they are, Believe them. You keep going back because you don't believe them. They're showing you that they're doing you wrong. They're showing you that they're not right, that they're using you, that they're talking down to you. And you keep going back because you keep believing a story that's not true. You keep believing they're who you want them to be instead of who they're showing up to be. Yeah. That's not the real friend. That's not the real companion. And so now that they keep showing me, I'm going to finally believe them for how they're showing up instead of creating my own fictional imagination of who I want them to be. And in doing that, I'm believing them for who they're showing up to be. I'm accepting them fully for who they are showing up to be. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create some boundaries. I'm going to say, you know what? I love that person, but I can't talk to them every day. I love that person, but I can't spend my weekend with them. I love that person, but we no longer can talk on the phone every single day for hours. I have to create boundaries. I have to change up some things to protect myself.
People are so attached to some of the heights in those relationships that they overlook the lows. And they look too highly on the relationship. They see the relationship too highly. All the positive moments that they've experienced with that individual, they think about, oh man, we had so much fun together. We do all this together. At the end of the night, when the fun is getting out of hand and they turn around and slap you, you start forgetting. You start thinking like, man, I need to get around better people. Because this person is he crossed the line. But then after that time has passed and we've forgiven them, but we also forgot what happened, and then we come back.
They never forget. They remember. They just say, oh, it wasn't none. Oh, they just had a bad day. They make excuses.
Yeah.
See, you never forget what happened. You make excuses for what happened.
Then we put ourselves back in that environment and back in that situation, and then we having a good time, and then when the night ends the same way the other night ended, then we like, man, this person has a problem. But at the same time, we haven't put any boundaries in place to protect ourselves from experiencing the same type of moments over and over again. In addition to all of this, and I think about the book, Sis, Be Nicer to Yourself, and I think about all of it together. And the things that you talk about, the things that you're doing, it's really about healing. It's about healing your mind, healing your spirit, and changing those generational mindsets that have boxed us in to repeat behavior that we've saw and behavior that we feel is acceptable. It's time for us to take a step back and say, you know, this is not the way life should be experienced. We should not always be in a situation where we're dealing with unhealthy people and unhealthy in our own minds and trying to figure out how do we get the people around us to change without going inside and healing and evolving and growing to a place where things that once used to be normal, once used to be acceptable, they do not look familiar anymore. They are not acceptable and you no longer want to be around them anymore. I think once we get to that place and continue to work on ourselves, to be nicer to ourselves, to help ourselves grow, to help ourselves relieve from the addiction to toxic relationships and from toxic energy, we can begin to create a path forward that not only impacts how we experience life, but can impact how generations behind us experience life, be it our children and the generations in our family behind us. Because what we're doing at that point is creating a new path and a new energy and a new experience. It's really time to come to a place in our lives where we say, no longer are we accepting the things of the past to be normal. Life is changing in such a rate to where if we're learning something today, we need to implement it right away, because by the time we get ready to do something, it'd be old information, old news. So you definitely want to put yourself in a position where you no longer accept things as they were.
Hey, yes, get out ahead of it. I love it. Man, this is such a great episode today. I'm really enjoying this message. I'm going to go back and watch it again and comment and everything. And I want to encourage you guys to share the messages with others. Tag your friends. Share it on your page. Again, thank you so much. Be sure to pre-order your copy, sisbenicertoyourself.com. Contact us at support@RainieHoward.com if you have any questions. Or if you just want to talk to us about any situation or anything, just let us know. Reach out. We love you so much. Don't forget, watch us on YouTube, also the podcast.
Yes.
Love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now I want to hear from you. How will you stop avoiding people when it comes to them showing up for who they are? How will you begin to create those boundaries? Let us know. Also, we want you to be sure to subscribe to our channel, share and like our messages with others. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next show.